Welcome, everyone, to the Wednesday Night Oasis. My name is Reverend Sally Bartholomew, and I will be your host this evening. I love Wednesday nights. They are just so much fun. They're interactive, they're fresh, and with our speaker tonight, you never know what might be said. Let me tell you that Wednesday Night Oasis, what we do is we build upon the theme from the previous Sunday, and we share in a satsang style where the speaker will talk for a while, and it's informal, it's interactive, and like I said, we are in for a treat this evening. We are building on the annual theme of a grand rising. And the annual theme is also the theme for January, a grand rising. Now, last Sunday, Reverend Sunshine Michelle introduced ideas inspired by the talk title of It's a New Life. And tonight, our returning speaker will continue the exploration of this same topic. Now, I do have some homework for you before we get started. I want you to make sure that you have handy and available for your use the Science of Mind textbook, the Living the Science of Mind book, a writing instrument, and some paper to write on. This will be a very interactive session this evening. And on Sunday, Reverend Sunshine reminded us of something that Paul normally reminds us of when he hosts the Wednesday night circle, Wednesday night Oasis. She shares with us the 6 C's. I've got circle and C's. She shares with us the 6 C's. And what these 6 C's are is compassion, come with a heart of love and tenderness, communication, come ready to exchange openly, communion, come in harmony and ready to share, camaraderie, come in friendship and family, collaboration, come in partnership and cooperation, and consciousness, come in spiritual awareness and truth. So that's what we're doing this evening. We are enacting the 6 C's. So looking at the list of individuals on the call this evening, I think I know you all pretty well, but I also want to welcome anyone who's new and viewing this video beyond this evening. Welcome to our community. I think you'll find something for you here. And if you are new, I invite you to navigate yourself to our website, www.oaklandcsl.org. And when you're there, you'll see an icon that says, I'm new. Click on that icon and you'll be given an opportunity to provide your email so that you may begin receiving the village newsletter. It's once a week in your email, and it tells you about what's happening at the center. So before we get started, I have some housekeeping notes. You are welcome to leave your cameras on. That's a way for the speaker to interact and to see your reaction to what he's saying. But please mute your audio until you're taking an opportunity to answer a question or interact that way. And if you don't, we will, the tech team in the back will mute your audio, and that helps with our recording later on. All right. I invite you to stay tuned all the way through to the end of service, and then I'll be giving you some special and important announcements. But in the meantime, I want to introduce our speaker tonight. You know who he is. He is Paul Presutti. He is one of the active volunteers at our center. Even when he says he's only 50% active, he's active at our center. He is very involved in our Dr. Dan group, helps to put up the decorations and the altars and all of that over the seasonal holidays. He's just very involved. So I want to introduce Paul and bring him forward. And I also want to ask Paul, will you be opening us in prayer this evening?
Actually, no, I'm going to save that sacred moment for someone very special in my life. And I've asked Emeritus Practitioner Dodi Cheney Fernandez to do it for us tonight. And I'm grateful that she said yes. Dodi?
Fabulous. All right, Dodi.
Hi, everybody. Let's take a deep breath and let it go. This is such a delightful time. I joyously give thanks that the present power of God is revealing itself in and through each of us. As we are open and receptive to a divine evening, we know that right and perfect situations, circumstances, understanding flows through us. We're open and receptive to God, expressing in each of us in a way that allows us to grow and expand, in a way that allows us to be at one with God. So giving thanks that as Paul presents his presentation tonight, there's a nugget in it. There's a growth in it and an awareness that we all take. We're able to absorb it in a way that allows us to utilize it and bring forth more joy, more peace, more happiness, more love in our lives. Because as Paul is open and receptive to grand rising, so are we. So I give thanks and know that as we move through this evening, it's fabulous, filled with joy, laughter, fun. All the good that God is revealing itself in and through each of us. And we're thankful. So I give thanks for this. I release it and accept it as done. So please affirm with me by saying, and so it is.
And
Amen.
so it is. Thank you, Dodi, so very, very much. I really appreciate it, dear heart. Thank you so much. And also, thank you, Reverend Sunshine, for inviting me to speak on the subject of It's a New Life tonight. Now, if you haven't done it yet and you weren't part of our social activity, I've asked all of you to retrieve your Science of Mind textbook. We are under order by Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman gave us homework on Sunday, so we're going to practice what she preaches, okay? You might have to, like me, blow some dust off of it, but we're going to crack the book. So if you know where it is handy, you can grab it. Please grab it real fast. The Science of Mind textbook. You might want to get some sticky notes that you might want to use so you don't mess your book up, or maybe a writing instrument and some note paper. I will be making some references you may want to record, and we're going to take a new, fresh look at the Science of Mind textbook, among many other things tonight. I would like to start with an interactive moment with all of you of what I call Paul's version of call and response. So we're going to break the rules because Paul's in the house, and that's always what happens. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and unmute yourselves. And I have 3 quotes that I will share with you, with Peter leading on the PowerPoint. And I really would like your help to call these quotes into being and to be present with us, with my voice and your voice. But you only have one word to say when I ask you, and that's the word what. Okay? Are you all game? Are you ready to have a little fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Peter, can you show the first slide? So at the top, it says what I'm going to say and what you're going to say, and then what I'm going to say, and then what you're going to say, and what I'm going to say. How's that sound? Are we all in?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Guess what?
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 Guess what?
What?
Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. This is from Maya Angelou from her poem, And Still I Rise, written in 1978. Peter, the next slide. Guess what?
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 Guess what?
What?
We all look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind textbook. You can turn to it right now, page 25. This is the very first sentence of the Science of Mind textbook under the thing itself. Peter, next slide, please. Guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
And that is all that love's about. And we'll recall when time runs out that it only took a moment to be loved a whole life long. The character of Cornelius singing to his beloved Irene in Hello Dolly in this song, It Only Took a Moment, It Only Takes a Moment, is written by Jerry Herman. Thank you, Peter. Last Sunday, Reverend Sunshine spoke on the subject of It's a New Life. I'm not kidding when I say her talk was packed with lots of wonderful references, direction, and spiritually provoking thoughts and ideas. Here's some, just some of my key takeaways. She asked us to reach back to our fundamental roots of knowledge of our philosophy by directing us to review and refresh ourselves with the introduction part of the Science of Mind textbook. She asked us to reintroduce ourselves and take a new look at these teachings and integrate them into our life. She also asked and invited us to consider many new ways to improve ourselves and create a new life, not only for ourselves, but also for our community. She explained that we could use a series of practical application questions to ponder as we go into our week and be able to practice it out in the world. She asked, how do we allow ourselves to be anew or renewed in our lives so we can go out in the world and say, it's a new life, to step into a new way of thinking despite what is going on in the world? How do we move beyond the world into our spiritual knowing? And how do we bring these new awarenesses and practices and recognitions into our community for all to enjoy? She referenced in an illustrative way of how a snake sheds its old skin and why it does so. My take in pondering on this reference left me with this question. How do I let go of the hold of the old way of thinking that has dominated me and prevents me to move forward in freedom into a new way of life? She also encouraged us for those times when we need to remember that it's a new life. Then how do we remember to remember? She spoke about the awesome power of change. Yes, we knew the change word was coming, Reverend Sunshine, and that power is the catalyst to shift our awareness. She reminded us to go within and ask the question, and then she encourages us to heed the response, even if the response is what we did not expect and may necessarily not welcome. She closed with a quote from Lynn Twist about knowing how to create possibilities as a mindset, as a new way of thinking and interacting with the world in a way that sustains, inspires, and empowers all of us. Tonight, I'll present a practical way I created for myself that works for me, that you may find helpful and may work for you. Now, those three quotes that I chose today for our call and response opening represent the theme of our month so far. For our monthly theme of a grand rising, I noticed that the weekly themes were in a progressive process, a layered, patterned, and step-by-step approach. First, it's a new dawn, then into a new day, and now this week, a new life. In Maya Angelou's quote, she embraces that breakthrough, bless us, the breakthrough moment, a new dawn of awareness, a reassuring and exhilarating promise of the freedom of newness to move forward, to rise into a new moment with our gifts from the past and the hope of the future. So right now, please grab your Science of Mind. I've asked you already to open it up to page 25. And that is the first part of the introduction known as the thing itself. And tonight we'll be just looking at pages 25 and 26. And I'm going to kind of cut to the gist of it by referencing things. But everything I reference is within these 2 pages. What I found most astounding was that Dr. Ernest Holm declares right at the outset, in the very first sentence, that we all look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. No, to the visible to the invisible. For me, this is the next step of this progressive process from the dawn to the day. He mentions it right there. We look forward to the day. In the next 2 paragraphs, he talks about the invisible creative intelligence and power and its relationship to the qualities and extremes of bondage and freedom, with several references. Of note, in the beginning of the 2nd paragraph, he says, to suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe would create man, I will say humans, in bondage and leave them bound would be to dishonor the creative power, which we call God, which I also call good. He goes on to say, the seed of freedom must be planted in the innermost being of a human, and humans must make the great discovery for him or herself. Now, in the 3rd paragraph, he writes, the divine plan is of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom, as Maya Angelou kind of references, is the birthright of every living soul. He says, all instinctively feel this, and I know Maya felt this when she was writing that poem. The truth points to freedom under law. The inherent nature of humans is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom, similar to the sense of freedom Maya Angelou rises to. I chose the song from Hello Dolly because it reminded me of a conversation I had with a wise mentor about living in life's fullness. The conversation took place on a very long road trip we were taking over 40 years ago, early in my life's adventure of seeking truth. In order to get there, she shared with me that we have the power to change a situation or experience quickly and easily in a breath. A breath takes only a moment to reach back to my roots of truth, commune with the divine that breathes me as I breathe with it, to ask the question and be still and wait for the answer from the creative intelligence, just as Reverend Sunshine spoke about. As the lyrics state, it only takes a moment to be loved your whole life long. And I believe that mystical moment is confirmed when Dr. Holmes states at the end of page 25 and on to page 26, we do well, he says, to listen to this inner voice in terms of freedom and everything, for it tells us of a life wonderful in scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, and of a freedom which the soul craves. I am so grateful that Reverend Sunshine directed us to open and explore the Science of Mind textbook and its introduction, as this progressive process is so important. Why did he start out with our theme for this week? We all look forward to the day. This is a new day. It's a new way. I believe there is a cycle of life. Just as we move through a daily cycle of the dawn breaking, the sun rising, the sun setting, and the nighttime arriving so we can rest and rejuvenate. When we awaken from our sleep, the cycle starts all over again. However, we do not need to be stuck in a non-supportive cycle of life that does not sustain, that does not inspire, and does not empower us. We can rise out of a conscious or even a subconscious rut or a routine, rise out of and release a repetitive adopted behavior or habit that no longer serves us. Even letting go, as Reverend Sunshine said in her illustrative way, shedding our skin of an old way of thinking, so an opportunity for a new way of thinking can emerge, and we can move into a wider and greater sense of freedom in our daily life. Now, some new things, new ideas, and new thoughts presented to me this month at our center has shifted, moved. Some people are using the new word pivoted, and even, dare I say, changed. That word, the C word, changed my position on the continuum of my journey in this life. These are some new ways of thinking. Reverend Mitch reminded me that I can change my direction and thought pattern when he did the exercise at the end of his sermon about the red hats and the blue hats. What do you experience, Paul, he said, when either one of them approach you on the street? My revelation was that I have the power to change my perception and that we all are children of God and everyone deserves a blessing. I am the other, I thought, and the other is me. Grady, in her conversation with Reverend Sunshine, stressed living forward. When something presents itself as an irritation or an issue to Grady, a person, place, or thing, she picks it up and examines the object from all directions and angles, and she embraces it. She lives forward, which means to her sending a blessing prayer to anyone and everyone you encounter along your journey. That's living forward. Jessica Chris suggested we create a ritual to start our new day. She said to put accomplishments in a cookie jar, so when you're feeling less than worthy, pull out a reminder of something wonderful that you accomplished. This action repositions my thinking and redirects my inner conversations from not worthy to worthy. Reverend Sunshine said, "It's a new day to do it in a new way, Paul. Change up your routine and approach the day and your life from a fresh, new perception, a new perspective, a new way." So contemplating Reverend Sunshine's suggestion last Sunday to look back to our roots of our philosophy made me think, sometimes the original old way, researching our origin and roots, may be a new way today in my thinking. The study of the translations of the Bible and Jesus' message from Aramaic directly to English sheds a new light on the meaning of his teachings and the teachings of the day, what the original and authentic intention is, what those original and authentic messages and meanings which have been somewhat lost in translation in its evolution from Aramaic to Greek or Hebrew to English, and of course through the time cycles that we have lived through. Something that may be old thinking for some might be new thinking for me. I've always had an issue with the routine saying of whole, perfect, and complete in our philosophy. From my experience, being perfect was something to be measured and attained. Scoring a 100% on a test is perfect, and a 98% is not a perfect score. Achieving a straight A student status was the only way to get on the honor roll. Getting a B on just one subject denied me of an honorable position. But in Aramaic, perfect means whole, full, all-encompassing, all-embracing, and all-inclusive. Now I have a new perspective on being perfect or having a perfect experience. I say to myself when perfect appears that that experience is perfect and all-inclusive. Being perfect is attainable. I'm okay just the way I am, warts, and I have many, and all. This allows me to see and embrace my extremes and find balance in the middle. Recently, in our Dr. Dan Daily discussions, I learned a new way at looking at some words. He says on January 16th about retool and refocus. Such negative words as insecurity, inability, and inharmonic contain within it a positive word. Put inner before the word. So therefore, insecurity becomes inner security. Inability becomes inner ability. Inharmonic becomes inner harmonic. For me, a big one was injustice, and that becomes inner justice. And you will then be able to give to these words a spiritual interpretation that will give to you a refocus, a new focus. I would even say a new life. This study of original and authentic ancient wisdom and where and how it comes from has resurrected some buried truths previously unknown for me. This brings me to the creative exercise I spoke about earlier. If you watch my last talk, I spoke about the symbol of the creative process. Peter, can you show that next slide for me? For seasoned religious scientists, we are aware of the symbol and how it works, as you can see in the demonstration. We all know this. Peter, can you show the next slide? On my last talk, I incorporated Dr. Holmes' ACE process, ACE, assimilate, circulate, and eliminate principle into the creative process. And Peter, that's on that slide. You got it. You can see how that worked. We talked about it, how we can combine two processes into one. I also showed you a gesture as a tool to remember this process, forming a V with our arms in the air or over our head, or you can use your hands in a V shape in front of you like this. This gesture reminds me to fill myself with all this ability to capture from the universe and bring it into my dimension, my awareness space. So I recently created a process for myself and incorporated it into my daily morning meditation, which I now call my grand rising period. If we take the V gesture whichever form that you would like to use, and position it toward the ground where the dawn breaks, or the position of your arms, like when you're greeting a child and saying, "Come to me," reaching down to them. And then I call out to it and I say, "I welcome and greet the dawn of a new thought from Spirit." Then I move my V gesture straight out like this when extending an invitation to embrace someone or something. I then call out and I say, "I embrace this day with this new thought from Spirit." Then I move my V gesture to the original upright position, open at the top, and I say, "I feel and express Spirit's new thought in a new way, fully in my life." Do you guys want to try it? Peter, can you show the next slide? There's
Okay.
the 3 phrases from dawn to day to life. Pointing our V down, feeling it, embodying it, all pointing to our heart. I welcome and greet the dawn of a new thought from Spirit. Then I embrace, move it this away. I embrace this day with this new thought from Spirit. And finally, I move up to the I rise, a grand rising into a new expression. I feel and express Spirit's new thought in a new way, fully in my life. I believe the power of gesture for me is an easy way, in a breath of a moment, to trigger, to remember, to remember. I can go like this to you without saying a word, and you understand what I mean. In a moment. It's easy for me to remember that power that I have within my space, given by God. I believe that life is a progressive process. Things in form evolve over time. They go through stages, steps, one after another, one at a time. My favorite realization of progress is that things evolve starting with hope, just an inkling or a dawning of a possibility. And it moves to faith, the thought of a possibility, to trust, the action of possibility, and then into a truth, the firmly anchored revelation of a possibility, free but yet secure in form. I am fully committed to living fully in a new way, here and now, every day. I would like to close with a quote that encapsulates for me all of our shared journey from Howard Thurman. Peter, if you would you show the last slide? I'll read it and ask that you follow along. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Despite the dullness and barrenness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance that I had forgotten. At the time, it was full, orbed, glorious, and resplendent. I was sure that I would never forget. In the moments of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for all the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and the grit of the journey. Details, lower level demands, all kinds of cross currents, Nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge or clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life, I say this new life, is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. My question for discussion tonight is, do you have your own new way that allows you to move forward in unbound freedom into a new way of life? Throwing it in the chat right now. Thank you everyone for your time. I'm about a few minutes late. I'm hoping we can use the rest of the time constructively to answer any questions or show me, share with me, bear with me as you have. What new things can you or have incorporated in your life to have a new life? Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. As we are all contemplating his question, I want to first give Paul some love, give him some claps and snaps and whatever else you want to give him. Wow, 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 wow. All right. So his question is, do you have your own new way that allows you to move forward in unbound freedom into a new way of life? Wow. Who would like to share? All right, I see Joan. Go ahead, Joan.
So I retired.
Yay.
Do
Good for you.
I need to say more? Yeah. So I haven't seen you guys much this past year. I've been dealing with medical issues, but yeah. So
Thank you for being here. It was good to see you Sunday. It was wonderful.
I know, we got to hug each other.
I know, and I got to reach back in time and remember how on Wednesday nights you would come, especially on Lucian nights. It was a thing for our Dr. Joan to chime in. So thank you, Joan.
I miss Revy. Where is she?
She is pretty much also retired. She's taken a break and
90 something. Yeah.
doing little things, I think, like going to Africa.
Well, thank you, Paul. Thanks for this evening.
Thanks, Joan. Reverend Sunshine, I see your hand.
Congratulations on your retirement, Joan. That's great. Paul, that was a great talk. Can always count on you to teach some principle, which I love. And mine is not a new way, but it's a continuing way. And, I make things new every day, is to keep soft knees is the way I call it, is to remain flexible and agile. And then that way, you don't get knocked off, your feet. You can billow with the wind like this, but if we're too straight in our knees, you get slapped down by life and, it's harder to get up. So keeping the soft knees is my way.
Thank you. Someone else? Anyone else?
Jody's got her hand up, Paul.
Okay, Jody, go, babe.
I have been trying, no, don't use trying. I have been implementing in my prayer and my meditation, in my consciousness, to be fully aware that God is whole, perfect, and complete. and that God only says yes. So when I back myself out of that, I'm able to see that the reason God always says yes is because the energy that we put into whatever we put into, like drinking, fighting, drugs, whatever we put into, we put that ahead of God. And that if we correct anything that we're working on, we have an inroad to God, because you don't have an inroad if you're angry, you're fighting, you're sad, you're hostile, you're prejudiced, those things are blockages, as other things that are physical things that are blockages to you. So allowing yourself to think of God as whole, perfect, and complete. And my inroad is to be able to release any of this other stuff so that my direct inroad to God for his yes is because these other things have disappeared. Now, this is a work in progress, but that's what it is. I'm complete.
It's always a work in progress. Always. I have a little detractor that learned just now how to come downstairs by himself. So I'm going to let him out, but please continue.
All right. Who else has something? Rev Deb, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Sorry, I guess I have to learn how to use my computer. So this became this revelation for me today, to when there are things that seem kind of complicated, to remember that, to trust spirit, but also to know that everything that I need is right in front of me. And because today it's like I was out and about and I left some things at home, purse, everything at home. But I had my phone and I was in the car and I realized everything that I needed was right in front of me, right in my hand. And it made me start thinking about how many times can I use that for other situations? It's like when I start stressing about something, what's right in front of me? And to remember God is always right in front of me, right there. So to remember whatever I need is always right there when I trust spirit.
Thank you, Reverend Deb. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Dorothy. And Paul, I want to thank you for your wonderful words of wisdom and encouragement today. And just knowing that we rise regardless of the appearances of things. I'm
Yes.
complete.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Frey, I see you've got your audio going. Are you going to share with us?
Well, I'm gonna be brave and share here. And it's what many deep things have been unfolding in my life recently. And what after several things happen, which are good, I came to this statement: life brings me what I need for my spiritual growth towards and my journey of embodying spirit and recognizing that I am whole, perfect, and complete. Life brings me what I need to really learn that I am whole, perfect, and complete. Any loose ends that need to be addressed. Thank you. That's it. I don't have to deny, I don't have to get upset when bad things happen. I can say, life's bringing me this to learn
Right.
and practice.
Nice.
Fabulous. Thank you, Freya.
Thank you.
Like an opportunity, like Reverend Sunshine said on Sunday, that these opportunities are brought to us to empower us and to, I forget the other two words that are in it. Maybe I can find it really fast, but I think it was Miss Twist said it. Anyways, these even like this one right now gives me a chance to go, oh, okay, I'll deal with you and continue on with this process tonight. I can handle this, but it's an opportunity to excel.
Stand.
Thank you, Freya.
I'm not seeing any other hands.
Well, I just want to make it clear that Reverend Sunshine commanded us, requested us, directed us to break it out, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Good job, Paul.
Really cannot get over that the very first sentence that Ernest has in his great masterpiece, there's a forward by I encourage you to flip back a little bit to the forward written by Jean Houston, Dr. Jean Houston, and read that. You should hear how she says how important this book is in world civilization in this time. If you've not read it, I encourage you to read it. And that how fortunate we are to have it at our disposal and our fingertips, and to have a senior minister that reminds us to go back to our ancestors and recognize them, because they're the fuel that propels us into this new life in a new way. And I'm excited to continue to read more directly from the ancestor himself, and others. So thank you, Reverend Sunshine, for the direction. Just doing my homework like you advised me to do. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for being open. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And I want everyone to make sure that they also look in the chat. Reverend Sunshine gave us another one. Flip the script. Watch the stories we tell and shift our focus and perspective so that we're facing the side of the continuum that I want more of. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm going to find a way to get that clip and put it out there into social media, because I love that demonstration that you gave us of that, Reverend Sunshine. So
Yeah.
wait for it. It's going to be coming. I'm not sure how, but it'll happen. So
Yeah.
all right, everyone. I told you that this would be a fabulous evening, and it certainly was. So let's go ahead with our announcements, and then we can be closing this one out. So Peter is sharing our screen here. So this coming Sunday, we're once again going to have a treat. We will have Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman speaking on feeling good, and she's bringing a guest with her, Jordan Dabney. Now, the meditation will start at 10 a.m. as it usually does, and service begins at 10:30 a.m. in the sanctuary, and we also broadcast it on
Sally,
YouTube.
wait a minute. Let's get Peter on track with the PowerPoint.
Yeah, that said December
I
17th.
pulled the wrong one up. Sorry.
Thank
Well,
you.
maybe there was a message in the old message that we needed to pay attention.
There's a message there somewhere.
Maybe we need to go back to December 17th, Reverend Sunshine.
We're staying, we are keeping our knees soft. We're staying
right.
flexible and nimble.
We can go in the name of wholeness, but let's not go back to December. Let's keep going forward,
Oh
okay?
yeah, let's keep going forward.
Yeah.
I'm gonna maintain it was the dragonfly.
All right, Peter, I'll wait a minute.
Okay. Here we go.
There we go.
Now we got it, I think.
Get to do it again. That's the right one. Okay. So January 28th, this coming Sunday, Reverend Sunshine will be speaking on feeling good, and she'll have a guest, Jordan Dabney, joining. All right.
Wow.
Meditation at 10 a.m. and services at 10:30. Now on Wednesday, next Wednesday, We will have Christopher Brown, practitioner Christopher Brown, speaking on feeling good. He'll be following up that Sunday conversation. Meditation begins at 6:30 and service begins at 7 p.m. on Zoom. We invite you to join our 2024 daily community spiritual practice using the Abundance Book, 40-Day Prosperity Plan by John Randolph Price. Today, we're on the 24th day of the program, which is the fourth affirmation in the book.
Mhm.
To follow along in the daily order that the affirmations appear. You are also invited to join Reverend Sunshine on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. using this Zoom link for 1 hour discussion group on the 40-Day Prosperity Program. You can join the conversation by visiting oaklandcsl.org, scrolling down to that Wednesday Oasis service Zoom link. Next, the Women's Spiritual Empowerment Group has already started a new group, new 6-week series, and the next session is on February 4th. Now, we ask that you sign up on the events page at oaklandcsl.org so that we can prepare for what we're going to share with you. The next Diversity Circle will meet on Friday, January 26th at 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. The topic will be sexual harassment. Is it just about sex? Please visit our website and select groups for more details. This month's nonprofit partner is Lend a Hand Foundation, and they're providing resources and services for underserved children, youth, and families in our city and county. They are requesting the following donations: raincoats, ponchos, tarps, umbrellas, blankets, and socks. Please place your donations in the barrel located in the foyer of the Education Building, also known as the Social Hall, by January 31st. And we thank you for your donations. So we also invite you to visit the website to find out what's going on at our center. And if you have any questions, these are the individuals that you can reach out to. You can reach out to them directly. We also invite you to visit our website, that I'm new icon, to sign up for the weekly newsletter, The Village News. Remember also to follow us on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, for special updates and contents that you'll only find there. And I encourage you, when you do that, to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, because when you leave a comment, that gets our name up higher in the search engine criteria. So please like and subscribe to the Oakland Center. All right, I think that's all of our announcements for today. And so now we get the opportunity to practice this spiritual practice of circulation. We're going to go into our time of divine giving, and we have our affirmation here. So I invite you to silently say with me, divine love,
I love as he blesses and multiplies this offering. It blesses all that I am,
all
all that I give, and all that I circulate.
Thank you, love as me.
There are several ways for you to give. You go to the website, oaklandcsl.org, click on the donate button. And when you do, you have the opportunity to give via text, Zelle. You can come on a Sunday and give in the donations basket. And you can also give by credit card or debit card in a regular recurring basis. We invite you to support the Oakland Center with your financial donations, as well as your participation and volunteering at the center. And as you can see from what Paul has shared this evening, There is so much sharing and love and growth at this center. We invite you to be a part of it, and we are grateful that you are here this evening with us. And with that, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you first and foremost to Paul for bringing his wisdom and his insights and his willingness to dive into the material, to dive in to the textbook, to find out what is Ernest saying and what does it mean for me? What does it mean for us? And to give us a new way of rising to greet the dawn. So thank you, Paul. Thank you. I also want to say thank you to the tech team, Peter Gum, Alice Herndon, and Alice Knutson. We are so blessed to have this team on Wednesday night that are here and supporting this process. I also want to say thank you to our operations coordinator, Steve Carter, for giving us the information and the slides and everything that we share with you. And last but not least, I want to thank Reverend Sunshine Michelle for encouraging us and supporting us in providing this Wednesday night experience. It truly is uplifting and inspiring. Thank you. That's it for the thank yous. I'm going to turn it back to Paul. I believe you have someone special to pray us out this evening.
I have the best bookends in the world in prayer tonight. First, Emeritus Practitioner Dodie Cheney Fernandez brought us in, and the wonderful, wonderful leading person in the ministry of prayer, also Emeritus, the wonderful practitioner Dorothy Mendez. Thank you, Dorothy, for gracing us tonight.
Absolutely, sweetheart. I just want to say thank you, Paul, for this evening, for the blessing that you have bestowed upon each and every one of us who are here today and those who are within the sound of your voice. We give thanks. So let us all just take a deep breath and just hold it and just let go, recognizing, knowing that God is our source and our sufficiency in all things, and that we give thanks for this evening. We give thanks for the message that was taught to us today, as we have opened our hearts and our minds to receive. And still I rise and know that we are moving in the direction of the divine source that we call God. And so we go forth, keeping fresh before us all those moments of high regards. We are blessed. As we go forth, we know that God goes before us, making any appearance of a crooked road straight. We give thanks for this day, for this is the day that God has created. And we rejoice in knowing that we are transformed and renewed in the words that were spoken today. And so I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this Wednesday night service and all who have participated in bringing this service to us with ease and grace. We say thank you, Mother, Father, God. And as we go forth this evening and for the rest of the week, we are grounded in that love and the light of God, that we grow easily and effortlessly through this week, knowing that God goes before us, making any appearance of a crooked road straight. And I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this and for the more. I let go, I let God, and so it is.
And so
So it is. Thank you.